Missing flashcard. Sarah stared at the scattered pile of flashcards on her desk, her heart sinking. She had been studiously going through them for weeks, preparing for her upcoming medical licensing exam, meticulously creating detailed cards on everything from human anatomy to pharmacology to disease processes. But now, one was missing: a crucial card covering the symptoms and treatment of a rare autoimmune disease. She racked her brain, trying to retrace her steps over the past few days. She had brought the full set of cards to her study group session at Molly's apartment just last night. Maybe it had fallen out of the box somewhere over there. Her stomach twisted into a knot thinking about having an incomplete deck. One missing piece of information could be devastating on the exam. Sarah shot off a text to her friend. "Hey Molly, did you happen to see a loose flashcard at your place after our study session last night? I can't find my autoimmune pathology card anywhere." After what felt like an eternity of waiting, her phone buzzed. "Oh no. I didn't notice anything, but let me do a quick sweep and get back to you." Sarah paced anxiously, her mind racing through worst-case scenarios. What if they couldn't find it? She had already spent dozens of hours carefully crafting that card, cross-referencing details from her textbooks and class notes. The thought of having to recreate all of that work made her feel exhausted. Just then, her phone vibrated again. "Sorry girl, I looked everywhere and didn't see it," sad face. "Let me know if you need my notes to remake the card." Sarah's shoulders slumped in defeat. Of course Molly's notes were excellent, but nothing could fully replace the synthesized understanding and distillation that went into her original flashcard. She resigned herself to the arduous task of reconstructing it from scratch over the next few days. As she began pulling her resources together, her phone buzzed once more. It was Matt, another member of their study group. "Hey, I think I found your missing flashcard. I must have accidentally scooped it up with my stuff when we were packing up at Molly's last night." Relief washed over Sarah with the force of a tidal wave. "Oh my God, you're a lifesaver. Where are you? I can swing by and grab it from you." "No need, I'm actually heading to the library to get some studying in if you want to meet me there." "Absolutely, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Thanks again Matt, you just saved me days of work." Sarah quickly threw on shoes and grabbed her backpack, practically running the few blocks to the main library on campus. She spotted Matt right away, waving from a table surrounded by a semicircle of empty chairs. There she is. The one who was about to have a coronary over a tiny 15-ard, he laughed, holding up the missing flashcard. "You have no idea, that thing is worth its weight in gold right now," Sarah said, snatching it eagerly from his hands. She examined it carefully, relieved to see all of her carefully written facts and treatment bullets accounted for. "I can't thank you enough Matt, really. I owe you one." He waved his hand dismissively. "Don't even worry about it. Though," a sly grin crossed his face, "you could buy me one of those absurdly overpriced coffees from the library cafe as a gesture of gratitude." Sarah laughed, quickly agreeing before taking a seat across from him, shuffling the precious card safely back into her deck. Over the next couple of hours, they lapsed into an easy routine of quiet studying, just the sound of pages turning and the occasional highlighting of texts. Every so often, Sarah's eyes would drift over to the flashcard, now tucked safely along with all the others, and she would be filled with a sense of reassurance. The monumental effort laid forth in assembling that deck was intact. As Matt was packing up his belongings around 6 p.m., he caught Sarah still diligently working. "Hey, you're gonna make me look like a slacker if you don't take a break soon." "Can't stop, won't stop," she replied without looking up. "This exam is going to be brutal." Matt opened his mouth to respond, but was interrupted by a sudden commotion a few tables away. A couple of students had knocked over a large stack of books in the typically hushed library atmosphere, unleashing a torrent of annoyed shushes and glares. As they scrambled to rectify the situation, papers and notebooks went flying every which way. Without warning, a gust of wind from the air vents above scattered the materials even further, sending one notebook's pages flapping uncontrollably. It was as if the universe had inhaled deeply, before expelling its breath in an explosive burst across the library's surface. Directly into the path of that rogue wind burst was Sarah's carefully guarded deck of flashcards. No, 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 she sputtered, making a desperate lunge for the cards as they launched into the air like a flock of startled birds. But it was too late, they had already been scattered in a wide radius, fluttering to the ground everywhere. You've got to be kidding me, Sarah groaned, dropping her forehead into her hands defeatedly. Matt immediately began scooping up the cards, trying his best to collect them before they became hopelessly intermingled. A few other bystanders who had witnessed the calamity joined in, crawling on hands and knees to corral the escaped herd of study materials. After a few minutes, the majority of the cards seemed to be recovered and consolidated into a loose pile. But as Sarah mechanically began reordering the stack, she gasped. "You're missing one?" Matt asked. "I'm missing the one," she replied frantically, panic rising in her voice once again. "The autoimmune pathology card." They both dropped to the floor, carefully examining every inch of the space where the cards had been strewn about. Slowly, other students who had been attempting to help drifted away, apparently unable to locate the renegade card. Sweat began to bead on Sarah's brow as she grew increasingly frantic. How could she have been so careless, allowing her most precious cardboard possession to go astray, again? She fought the desperate urge to break down into tears right there in the middle of the library. "Hey, is this it?" Matt's voice snapped Sarah's attention back to the present. He was standing a couple of feet away, holding a card up triumphantly. She sprung to her feet and snatched it from his hand, grateful tears barely constrained. "You amazing, wonderful, lifesaver of a human being." Matt grinned. "That's twice I've rescued that card now. I'll be expecting Avengers-level compensation this time." Sarah didn't even care what outrageous demand he might make. She would gladly have granted him law order residual checks for the rest of his days after this ordeal. Carefully replacing the card in her deck, she let out a relieved sigh. "You know, we could probably cover autoimmune diseases in about 5 minutes and call it a day, but I think I've had enough flashcard excitement for one day." Matt agreed with a laugh, zipping his backpack and slinging it over his shoulder in preparation to leave for the night. "Actually, here," Sarah said, extracting the card once more and handing it to Matt. "You hang on to this for me tonight. Clearly it needs adult supervision or a weapon gets loose." This time, Matt accepted it with a look of sincere understanding, giving a solemn nod. In a matter of seconds, her potential undoing had been not just avoided, but entrusted to the care of someone she knew would go to the ends of the earth to protect it. Finally, Sarah could rest easy at least until tomorrow's study session, when she would inevitably seek out Matt's expert babysitting services for her mobile bundle of knowledge once again.